Okay, good evening, students. I think you can hear me. Now, we just start this Python revision. Now, remember this Python is one of the main components in this module. Therefore, learning this Python is very important because there are many questions in the MCQ, structured essay, and essay type. So you can get good marks once you learn this Python. So it is not difficult, this Python language actually. If you just listen to this lesson carefully, I just complete every section step by step. It takes time actually because this has many components, many sections. I want to cover all the section in this Python so that once you finish this, you will get the good knowledge in the Python. Therefore, please be patient and wait in the lessons. So I just take the few days to complete this. Once you finish, I can guarantee you will get the good knowledge as well as you can write the answers easily and get the good marks. So this is not difficult lesson. And again, which is very important as a student who are following the ICT in the A-level streams. So so if you have any questions, please ask the question at any time. You can interrupt me and ask the question. This is not difficult lesson. So now I just cover all the things from the sketch or from the beginning. So therefore, you will get entire knowledge related to the Python programming. මේකේ තමයි මතක තියාගන්න මේ Python programming කියන එක ගොඩක් වැදගත් කොටසක්. එතකොට මේක මුලින්දලම අල්ල ගන්න ඕනේ. ඒ නිසා මම මේ පාඩම් ටික මුලින්දලම කරනවා. එතකොට ඔයගොල්ලන්ට මේ දවස් කීප ඉවර වෙනකොට මේ Python වල තියෙන ඔක්කොම දේවල් ඉගෙන ගන්න පුළුවන් සහ පේපර් එකේ ගොඩක් ලකුණු එනවා Python කියන කොටසින්. එකක් MCQ, structured essay, essay type. එතකොට මේ ඔක්කොටම answers ලියන්න පුළුවන්. ඔයගොල්ලෝ මේ පාඩම හරියට අහගෙන හිටියොත්. දවස් කීපයක් ගන්න වෙනවා මේක ඉවර කරන්න. මොකද මේ Python කියන පාඩම ටිකක් දිග පාඩමක්, කොටස් ගොඩක් තියෙනවා. හැබැයි අමාරු නැහැ හරියට ඔයගොල්ලෝ තේරුම් අරන් කරගෙන ගියොත්. So I just explain everything from the beginning, so it won't be difficult. Just listen carefully. Once you finish, I can guarantee you can answer the questions easily in this Python programming. Now, initially, you should know what is this programming languages. Remember, we are using the programming languages to make the communications. Now, initially, have learned the English language because you can make the communication with others easily. Similarly, when you're going to learn the programming languages, you need to learn few things actually. One thing is all the languages are built using the keywords or reserved words. So then initially you have to learn what are the keywords or reserved words in the language. After that, you have to learn about the rules or what we call the syntax. So in the Python also we have set of rules and the syntax. So when you're learning the English, I think you have initially studied the alphabet and then you have learned the words with the spelling. After that, you have learned the grammar. Once you learn the grammar, then only you can write the very meaningful sentence. Similarly, when you're going to learn about the programming languages, you need to know about these keywords or reserved words and the syntax. So that is the key thing in every programming language. So එතකොට මතක තියාගන්න program language එකක් ඉගෙන ගන්න යද්දි මුලින්ම ඔයගොල්ලෝ keywords, reserved words මොනවද කියලා language එකේ හඳුනා ගන්න ඕනේ. ඊට පස්සේ language ඉතින් rules or we call as syntax. ඒ ටික ඉගෙන ගන්න ඕනේ. Then you can write very nice program where you can do very complex task. Now, when you take this Python, we have very few keywords in this language. Remember, in the Python, this keyword or reserve words are very few keywords we have. So you have to initially learn about these keywords in the language. So in Python, these are the keywords. Remember, the entire language is built using these few keywords. So one thing you should remember in these keywords, all the keywords are simple letters, but except first three. That is, remember this first three, these three are different. That is true, false, none. Only these three start with the capital letters. But all the other, remember, keywords are simple letters in the Python language. That is the one key thing you should remember. True, false, none start with capital. So මතකන් මේ තමයි Python language එකේ තියෙන keywords ටික. මේකෙන් තමයි ඔක්කොම programs ලියන්නේ මේ keywords පාවිච්චි කරලා. Python වල case sensitive language එක. ඒතර capital simple ප්‍රශ්නයක් වෙනවා. හැමතිස්සෙම Python program ලියද්දී simple letters වලින් ලියන්න. හැබැයි මෙන්න මේ false, true, none කියන තුන විතරක් පටන් ගන්න ඕනේ capital letters වලින්. So that's the key thing you should remember. False, true, none. These three should start with capital. Just keep in mind. Then the second thing is, as I told you, once you learn about the keywords, the second thing is syntax. Like you will learn these things later. I will explain this one. Now, when you are working the if statement, once you write the condition, you have to use a colon here. This colon is a rule or syntax. So therefore, you have to use that syntax when you are learning the program code. And again, when you write the if, you need to keep the indentations like this. The indentations are necessary. These are the rules. And you have to use the else, and then you have to use the colon. So these are the rules in the language. Those are we call as syntax. So you need to follow this syntax when you are writing this program code. तर මේවා තමයි syntax අපිට ඉගෙන ගන්න තියෙන්නේ. එතන දැන් උදාහරණයක් මම if කියන එක ලියුවට පස්සේ condition එකට පස්සේ colon එක. ඊට පස්සේ indentation තියෙනුනේ. ඒක shift කරලා ලියන්න එපා. shift කරලා ලියන්න. else වලදී colon එක දාන්න. මේවා තමයි rules කියන්නේ. මේ වගේ rules කීයක් තියෙනවද? We just remember this Python is very powerful language. We can do many things. As you know, currently these machine learning algorithms, which are very useful, are developed using Python. So therefore, most of the complex tasks you can do with the Python. This was the language developed by a person called as Guido van Rossum. He is the person who developed this Python language, and which is supporting for the object-oriented concepts also. Now, to work with the Python, what you should do is you can download this Python. When you go to this python.org website, what you can do is go to this website python.org, and there's a download place. You can download it and just install. And then Python has an interpreter, not the compiler. So Python has an interpreter. With that, you can do the interpretation and you can execute the programs. Therefore, to run the Python program, what you should do is go to this python.org website and download, and easily you can write the programs. There are Python programs run කරන්න ඔයගොල්ලෝ python.org කියන එකට ගිහිල්ලා ඔයගොල්ලෝ Windows version එක අදාළව download කරගන්න. ඊට පස්සේ ඒක execute කරන්න තියෙන්නේ. Then you get the interface. Through that, you can run all the commands and all the programs easily. Now, when you come to this program languages, remember we have two types of languages. One is low-level languages, other one is a high-level languages. So when you come to the low-level languages, we have mainly two: machine language and assembly language. Now, we want to have some idea about these languages. Low-level languages are the language which are very close to the machine. High-level languages are the language which are very close to the user. That is why we call them as high-level languages. ඒතර මතක තියෙන program languages mainly කොටස් දෙකකට බෙදෙනවා: low level and high level. low level යට තියෙන්නේ machine language එක assembly language එකයි. ඒතර මේ languages hardware වලට ගොඩක් close ළඟයි. හැබැයි user ට programs කියන්න අමාරුයි. But high level languages are very easy for the user. Low level languages are very easy for the computer. Now, when you take the low level language, mainly we have the machine language and assembly language. Those are the two languages called as a low level. Why are we calling them a low level? Because they are very close to the lowest level, or we call as a processor or CPU. But that is very difficult for the humans to understand or develop the programs. So one of the low-level languages is machine language. Remember, this is the language where the machine can understand, so that once you write a program, the machine can directly understand, no need to have the translator. So the machine language is the lowest low-level programming language, where you write the program with only using 0 and 1, so that the computer can understand the machine language codes. So remember, the machine language codes are very easy to execute because no translators are necessary. No need to do the compilation or interpretation. And then we can work with directly hardware. So it is very easy to work with the hardware, but as a user, we cannot understand and difficult to work with the machine language code. So then remember, once you write the program, the machine language, it is very difficult for you to understand and read, and difficult to develop complex software, and it is machine dependent. Once you develop the program in the one machine, you can't run on the other machines. So additional hardware knowledge are necessary to work with this machine language codes. So මතකගෙන machine language එකෙන් programs ලිව්වහම machine එකට තේරුම් ගන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි user ට තේරුම් ගන්න බෑ. program එකට තේරුම් ගන්න අමාරුයි. අනිත් එක තමයි program එක ලිව්වට පස්සේ ඒක වැඩ කරන්නේ එක machine එකක විතරයි. ඒක වෙන machine එකකට run කරන්න බෑ. machine dependent වෙනවා. ලොකු complex programs හදන්න බෑ. මොකද program ලියන එක ගොඩක් අමාරුයි. machine languages වල. Therefore, later they introduced a language called as assembly language, which is bit more easier than the machine language, because machine language has only 0 and 1. Therefore, then they have introduced the assembly language, which is much more easier, where we have some keywords called as mnemonics, so that it is a little bit readable than the machine code. So therefore, assembly language also low-level language, hardware knowledge is necessary, and machine-dependent code, but it is easier than the machine code. However, translate is necessary. We are using the translator code as an assembler. Assembler will translate assembly code into machine code. එතකොට මතක තියෙන assembly code එක machine code එකට වඩා ටිකක් lazy. මොකද machine code එකේ තියෙන බිංදුව සහ එක විතරයි. එතකොට මුකුත්ම තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ. හැබැයි මේක assembly code එකේ සමහර වචන තියෙනවා. ඒක 0 and 1 නෙමේ. program එක තේරුම් ගන්න පුළුවන් machine code එකට වඩා. හැබැයි assembly code එකත් low level language එකක්. ඒ කියන්නේ hardware පිළිබඳ හොඳ දැනීමක් තියෙන programs ලියන්න. නැත්තම් ලියන්න බෑ. Otherwise it is difficult to work with assembly. So and again machine dependent. ඒ කියන්නේ එක program එකක් එක machine එකක ලිව්වහම ඒ program වෙන machine එකක run කරන්න බෑ. That disadvantage is there. Then you use a translator here called as assembler. Assembler will translate the assembly code into the machine code so that you can run it in the machine. So therefore, assembly code is easier but bit slower than the machine code because translations are necessary. So then with compared to the machine language, assembly language is easy and efficient, but translations are necessary, and user can develop somewhat larger program with compared to the machine code because some words you can understand. However, there are disadvantages. One is machine dependent. Once you develop the program in one machine, you cannot run in another machine. Still developing is difficult because it's a low level language. You may get more errors when you are working with assembly language. Now, those are the two low-level languages, that is machine language and assembly language. Then what happened later, people realized to develop the good complex software, we need the high-level languages. Therefore, they introduce the high-level languages, which are very close to the user, and developing complex large software is very easy. But we need to have the translators to translate, otherwise machine cannot understand these high-level languages. The high-level languages කියලා කියන්නේ ඒවා user ගොඩක් close user ට ඇත්තටම ලේසියෙන්ම ලියන්න පුළුවන් program එක. ලොකු complex programs ලියන්න පුළුවන්. Machine එකට හැබැයි තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ. We need to have the translators like interpreter compilers necessary to make the translation. So these are the steps actually. Once you write a program in the high-level language, you need to convert it to the machine code. To convert it to machine code, we need to use either interpreter or compile is necessary to convert into the machine code. Now, high-level languages, as I mentioned previously, it is very easy to develop very complex large programs, and it will hide the complexities. And once you write a program in one machine, you can run out any machine. So only disadvantage is actually the translation. So it takes more time to translate, and more speeds are necessary to make the translations to the machine code. So once you write the program in the high level, you need to convert the low level or machine code. For that, we have to use the different translators to make the translations. Then to make the translation, remember we have three translators: assembler, compiler, and interpreter. So using these translators, you can convert them into high level to low level. එතකොට මතකන high level program languages user ට තේරෙන්නේ නැති නිසා ඒ කියන programs machine code එකට හරවන්න ඕනේ. ඒ හරවන්න translators අවශ්‍ය වෙනවා. There are three translators: assembler, compiler, interpreter. Using these translators, you can translate into the machine code. So initially, I just explained you the one translator called as a compiler. So what it does actually, the compiler will translate entire program to machine code. So in that case, it translates very faster, so that once you write a program, compiler will check syntax of the program. If the syntax are followed, translate to the machine code. Later you can execute. If there are syntax errors or if there are rules not followed properly, then it generates syntax errors. They have to correct it and then translate it. එතන මතකන compile එක කියලා කියන්නේ program එක සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම translate කරන machine code එකට line by line යන්නේ සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම translate කරනවා. ඊට පස්සේ තමයි program එක අපිට execute කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්නේ. එතකොට මේ compiler කියන process එක ගොඩක් fast interpreter එකට වඩා. Because in interpreter what happened, it translates line by line. It takes the first line of the program code, then translate to the machine code and execute line by line. Take the first line, translate to the machine code and execute. Take the second line, translate to the machine code and execute. So therefore it does the work line by line and then make the execution line by line. එතන interpreter එකේ වෙනස තමයි compile එක සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම program එක translate කරන machine code එකකට ඊට පස්සේ තමයි run කරන්නේ. හැබැයි interpreter එක එහෙම නෙමෙයි, program එකේ line එකකින් line එක අරගන්නවා, පළවෙනි line එක අරගෙන syntax හරිද කියලා බලලා execute කරනවා. ඊට පස්සේ second line එක ගන්නවා, ඒකත් translate කරලා execute කරනවා. So it does the work line by line. Therefore interpreters are a bit slower than the compilers. So then when you take the languages C, C++, Fortran, Pascal, like they have a compiler. Python, PHP, Ruby, JavaScript, like those languages has the interpreter. Now, when you take this all computer program languages, remember we have low level and the high level. Low level, we know there are two generations, first generation and second generation. First generation means machine language, second generation means assembly language. High level, we have the three generations, third, fourth, and fifth generation. Each generation has improved the program language so that it is easy to do the work. Now, the first generation language is a machine language. Second generation is assembly language. Normally, third generation languages are Fortran, COBOL, C, C++, Java, like those are third generation. Normally, they are procedural languages. But fourth generation language like SQL, like those languages are declarative languages. Fifth generation languages are normally AI related language, Prolog, Lisp type languages are fifth generation languages. So this way you can categorize all 5 generations. Okay, then to write the Python programs, what you should do is you can go to this python.org and download this Python interpreter. So you can download the whatever the newest version and install in your computer. Once you install in your computer, you will get this kind of interface where you can write the commands to run the whatever the instructions. You can write the commands on the command interpreter like this, or you can use the open a new file and then you can write the complete program by opening a new file. So that way you can write the programs in the Python. Okay, now let's start this Python, whatever the content. Now, initially, when you're going to work with Python, first thing you should know what are these identifiers. Now, remember, why do you want to have the identifiers? Now, when you're going to work with the Python program, what happens? You are going to store some data in the computer memory. But remember, in the computer memory, we access using the address. But remember this address, you know, currently computers are 64 bits. The address are having 64 bits. So in that case, if you're going to store some data or retrieve some data, you need to use 32 bits address or 64 bit address. So therefore, in that case, remember, as a human, working with the addresses are very difficult. Therefore, what we do is we use the names. Now, when you use the names to identify the memory, those names we call as identifiers. The names that are used to identify the memory locations we call as identifiers. So then remember, using these identifiers, you can identify the memory locations and then you can get the required data from the memory. So then remember, the identifiers are the names we are using to identify the memory locations, because using the addresses are very difficult to access the memory because it is difficult to remember the addresses. So මතියන identifiers පාවිච්චි කරන්න හේතුව තමයි computer programs ලියද්දී අපි data memory එකේ තියාගන්න ඕනේ. එතකොට ඒ memory එකේ දාන data ගන්න සහ දාන්න අපිට memory address එක පාවිච්චි කරන්න ඕනේ. දැනට අපි පාවිච්චි කරන computer 64 bits. එතකොට address එකේ bits 64ක් තියෙනවා. එතකොට bits 64ක number එකකින් තමයි memory එකට දාන්න සහ ගන්න වෙන්නේ. එතකොට memory bits 64ක් මතක තියාගන්න අමාරුයි. ඒ නිසා තමයි නම් පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ. ඒත් මේ නම් වලට කියනවා identifiers කියලා. මොකද ඒක යොදා ගන්නවා memory එක identify කරගන්න. Therefore, these identifiers are the names that are used to identify the memory locations. Just keep in mind. And these identifiers we call as the variables. Identifiers and variables are both are same. Why do you call the variables? Because the value in the memory is not fixed. time to time you can change. Since time to time you can change, we call them as variables. එතකොට මතක තියාගන්න variables කියන්නේ identifiers කියන්නේ දෙකම එකයි. ඒ වගේ නම් why are we using these names? Because it is easy to remember the memory location using the names than the address, because people will not like to work with the address. Always people are willing to work with the names. That is why all the website has a names, but actually you access the website using an IP address. But people will not like to work with the addresses. Now we know that everyone knows the Google, but no one knows the IP address of the Google, but actually Google is accessing the IP address. Then why are we using the name Google? Because people can remember it. ඒතර මතක තියන්න variable කිව්වත් identifier කිව්වත් දෙකම එකයි. එකෙන් කරන්නේ එක නමක් ඒක පාවිච්චි කරන්න මෙමරි එක අඳුර ගන්න. නැත්තම් මෙමරි ඇඩ්‍රස් එක පාවිච්චි කරන්න ගියොත් අමාරුයි, මොකද මෙමරි ඇඩ්‍රස් එකේ bits ගාන එක්ක 32ක් වෙනවා එක්ක 64ක් වෙනවා. That is very difficult to work with the address. So then when you're going to work with this program, remember you have the different data types. Like we have the integer, short, like there are different data types. But in Python, the advantage is when you're going to use Python program codes, you don't need to know anything about the data types, because automatically Python will identify data types. Therefore, you don't need to think about what are the data types that are going to store with the variables. Therefore, you don't need to declare what are the data types. Now, mainly have the integer, float, and we have different data structures like list, string, tuple, like we discuss them later. Now, when you're going to give the names, remember in the Python or any language, there are rules. What are the rules you need to follow when you're going to create the variables or identifiers? These are the rules. Remember, this name should start with always a character, like A, B, A to Z capital, A to simple, low, underscore. But you can't start the name by number. And you cannot use any special characters except underscore. At, hash, like those characters can be used. And the reserved words in the language cannot be used. And don't keep the space between the two words in the variables. So like you have to keep in mind when you're going to create the variables or identifiers, these rules should be applied. එතන මත කියන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ට නමක් දාද්දී ඔයගොල්ලෝ කැමති විදිහට නම් දාන්න බෑ. පළවෙනි අකුර අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම A to Z capital හරි simple හරි underscore වෙන්න ඕනේ. පළවෙනි අකුර ඉලක්කමක් දාන්න බෑ. ස්පෙෂල් කැරක්ටර්ස් දාන්න බෑ. at hash underscore කියන අකුරු කැරක්ටර්ස් දාන්න බෑ. ඊට පස්සේ ලැන්ග්වේජ් එකේ තියෙන රිසර්ව් වර්ඩ්ස් පාවිච්චි කරන්න බෑ. ඊට පස්සේ නාමකට වචන දෙකක් තියෙනවා නම් ස්පේසින් තියන්න බෑ. So remember those things when you are creating the variables or identifiers. Now this is very important when you are going to assign the values. Now once you create the variables or identifiers, you need to keep some values. Now these are the ways you can store the values. One way is you can just, as given this example here, you can see you can assign the value like this. You can store what are the integer or float or strings, like you can store the values like this, or you can store the values like this also. In this case, A, B, C all are equal to 10. Or you can store the values like this. When you store the value like this, A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20, C is equal to 30. Or you can store the value like this also. Now this one later we'll discuss. Remember, this is we call as a tuple. Tuple. The data type is a tuple. So just keep in mind, we can store these values in this way. එතකොට මේක මතක තියාගන්න මේ values මේ විදිහට save කරන්න පුළුවන්. මේ අවසාන එක පොඩ්ඩක් පටලව ගන්න එපා. Another thing is you should remember when you are storing this value for this Boolean value, the true. true, if it is a Boolean, you have to use a capital like this. Or if you are using the false, you have to use the word false like this. Capital, start with capital. But if you are storing the string, then you can write whatever you like this, and you can use the quotation marks. तर මට කියන්න ඔයගොල්ලෝ බූලියන් විදියට නම් මේක සේව් කරන්නේ true කියන එකේ T capital වෙන්න ඕනේ, F කියන එකේ F capital වෙන්න ඕනේ. හැබැයි මේක string විදියට නම් ඔයාලට කැමති විදිහට මෙතන අතුරු ලියන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි quotations marks පාවිච්චි කරන්න ඕනේ strings වලදී. Just keep in mind that also. Now these are few examples. Either you can use like this, simple letters for string, single quotation or double quotation, but don't use both together. එතකොට එකක් double අනිත් single දාන්න එපා. ඒතර වැඩ කරන්නේ. That gives an error. Another thing is, remember, you can write like this. This is exponential format. This means this is actually the meaning is 2.5 multiplied by 10 to the power 3. 10 to the power 3 means 1000. 1000 in 2.5 is 2500. Either you can use capital letters or simple letters, no matter. This is actually 1 over 1000. तर මතකනේ මේ e අකුර දාන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක exponential කියන එක තියෙනවා. ඒතකොට 10 කීවෙනි බලයේද කියන එක තමයි එතන එන්න ඕන. ඒතර ඔය විදිහට value assign කරන්න පුළුවන්. So you can assign the values like this also, as given here. In that case, A and B both are equal to 6. Here A is equal to 2, B is equal to 3. Here A is 1, B is 2, C is 3. That way also you can assign the values, just keep in mind. Because some exam, there were questions like this. And there's a built-in function in the Python called as a type. By using this type function, you can find out as a data type. So if I have stored the value A45, if you want to find the type, it says it is an integer. And if I have the variable B, if you want to find out the type, it says it's a string. And if you have the value like this, variable like this, if you want to find what's the type, it's a complex number. And if you have a variable B like this, if you want to find what is the type, it's a list. Like you can find out what is a type use this function called as a type. So type කියලා කියන්නේ Python වල තියෙන function එකක්, built-in function එකක්. ඒක පාවිච්චි කරලා ඔයගලන්ට පුළුවන් හොයාගන්න මොකද්ද data type එක variable එකේ. Then the next important thing is mathematical operators. You can expect one question in the A-level paper from these mathematical operators, because in the last few years you can see the question in the Python always will have a question in these operators. तर මම කියන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ past papers බැලුවොත් අඩුම ගානේ එක ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා මේ operators වලින්. Therefore you need to understand these operators carefully. तर මේ operators ටික හරියටම ඉගෙන ගන්න. I think some of them are very obvious: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Those are, I think, very obvious. Now this will give the modulus or remainder. Once the number divided by some number, remainder is given by, like as given here, 10 divided by 4 is 2. Again, the higher and this is the quotient. This will give the integer part. That means how many 5s are there for the 18? That is 3. Integer part. And this is the exponential. That is 3 to the power 5 is 243. So those are the main operators we have in the Python. You should understand those. And in addition to that, when you're working in the maths or mathematics, you learn about the BODMAS. That is bracket of division, multiplication, addition, subtraction. So similarly, in Python also, these operators are in the precedence. Which one gets a high priority? Exponential. These are high priority. After that, this bitwise operators, and then remember multiplication, division, integer division, modulus. They are in the next level. Then after that, plus minus. And then the bitwise AND operation, bitwise exclusive operation, listwise operation. So I will explain these operators later. At the moment, you can just remember the highest one is exponentiation. Then after that, this you get this multiplication, division. Those are in the same level. Addition, subtraction after that, and the shift operator, bitwise AND operator, and bitwise exclusive operation, and bitwise operations. Like they are in the lowest level, next level. So I'll take some example and explain to you. तर මට කියන්න මේ operator precedence කියන එක අපිට හරි වැදගත්. මාක් හරි ගානක operators කීපයක් ආවම අපි දැනගන්න ඕනේ මුලින්ම කරන්න ඕනේ මොකක්ද කියලා. ඒතර මේ table එකෙන් පෙන්නනවා මුලින්ම තියෙන්නේ මොකක්ද? මුලින්ම කරන්න ඕනේ මොකක්ද කියන එක. ඒතර exponential කියන එක තමයි මුලින්ම. ඊට පස්සේ තමයි ඊළඟ level එකට යන්නේ. So ඒ ටික ඔයගොල්ලෝ පොඩ්ඩක් ඔළුවේ තියාගන්න ඕනේ. මම example කීපයක් අරගෙන ඔයගොල්ලන්ට කියලා දෙන්නම් කොහොමද මේක කරන්නේ කියන එක. මොකද past papers වල ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා මේ operators පාවිච්චි කරලා. So I think these are very obvious. No need to take down. I will share the slides after finished. You can refer this one again. I will share the slides in the WhatsApp group. You can study it again. Now this is your obvious 3 plus 4 7. Subtraction, division, modulus, remainder. 7 divided by 3 remainder is 1. That is division 0.75. 5 into 4, 20. This is also division. This is also division. This is also division. This is exponential. 2 to the power 4, 16. Remember, when you write like this, here initially it calculates this one. 2 to the power 4. 16, then you get the minus. But if you want to get the minus 2 to the power value, you have to write the brackets and you can write like this. If you write like this, this is minus 2 to the power 4, that is 16. But in this case, first you calculate this part and then get the negative after that. So you can see this is actually plus 60. And this is 2 to the power minus 4. That means 1 over 2 to the power 4, 16. And this is the integer division. 7 divided by 2, how many 2's are there? 3. Here also same, but you get the floating point value. Now this is one thing you have to be very careful. Remember this one will give you the integer less than that number. So in this one, 7.7 divided by 2 means 3.5. Then remember the 3.5 integer less than this one is 3. That is why you get the answer is 3 here. But remember here minus 3 divided by 2 is minus 3.5. Then remember the number less than minus 3.5 is minus 4. That is why here you get the answer minus 4. Just keep in mind. Because that gives a less integer. So that is one of the key things you should know. So if you calculate the answers here, so if you have any questions, you can ask. Yeah, I will give you these slides with the writing. Now, in the first one, I just explained. So here the answers are, first one is you calculate 20 divided by 7, the remainder. So how many 7s are there for the 20? Remember 7 into 4 to 14, 6 remaining. That is why here the answer is 6. This is 20 divided by 7. You get this number. This integer part for the 20, how many 7s are there? 2. But minus 20 divided by 7 means you get some 2 point something, minus 2 point something. The less integer with compared to this is minus 3. That is why you get the answer is minus 3. Then actually minus 20 divided by 7. Remember, you get that answer is actually minus 3. Then the remainder is here 7. 7 into 3 is 21. So 21 plus 1. 7 into 3 is minus 21. 21 plus 1 is 20. Therefore, the answer is 1. That 1 is coming here, this one actually. And this is 2 to the power 3, 8. This is 2 to the power minus 3. That means 1 over 8. So then the next thing is bitwise operators. Now, when you take these bitwise operators, you need to understand about these bitwise operators. One is the AND operator, O operator, and bitwise exclusive O. And these are shift operators. And this is a ones complement operator. So these operators you should understand when you're going to work with this calculation. We'll take each operator and explain how do they work. මේ operators ටික ඔයගොල්ලෝ ඉගෙන ගන්න ඕනේ. මොකද මේකෙන් ගණන් තියෙනවා ගොඩක් කාට exam paper එකේ. Now if you take the first one, now first one is this is actually O operator. Now 6 means binary 110. 9 means 1001. Then here we assume this is 0. Then there is the bitwise operator. Operator means 100 means 1, 100 means 1, 100 means 1, 1. So you can see 111 means 15. Then if you take the next one, this is the AND operator. Now 6 means 110, 9 means 1001. AND operation means multiplication. 1 into 0, 0. 1 into 0, 0. 1 into 0, 0. This is 0, 0. Then you can see the answer is 0. That's why here the answer is 0. Now the next one is exclusive O operation. Now in the exclusive O operation, remember, you need to know the truth table for the exclusive O. So when you have the inputs A and B, remember exclusive O logic gate XO. Logic gate is 0, 1, 1, 0. That is the output. So then when you take the exclusive operation here for this one, 6 means 110, 9 means 1001. And this is 0. Then you can see according to this table, 0 or 1 means 1, 1 or 0 means 1, 1 or 0 means 1, 0, 1 is 1. That means 15. So get the answer 15. Now, this is another thing you should know. This notation is actually ones complement. Ones complement. How do you calculate the ones complement? For the given number, add 1. That means 6, add 1, 7, change the sign. That means minus 7. If it is a minus 6 also add 1. When you add 1, minus 5, change the sign, plus 5. So then remember how to calculate the bitwise operator. For the given number, add 1, change the sign. උතර මතකයන් මේ කම්ප්ලිමන්ට් වැලියු හදන්නේ කොහොමද? දීලා තියෙන සංඛ්‍යාවට එකක් එකතු කරන්න. එකතු කළා change කරන්න sign එක. දැන් මෙතනදී bitwise operator ones complement 6 කියලා කියන්නේ 6ට එකක් එකතු කරාම 7යි change කරන්න sign එක minus. minus 6 කියලා කියන්නේ minus 6 වලට එකතු කරාම එකක් එකතු කරාම minus 5. Change the sign plus 5. That is how we get the answer. Then the next two are shift operators. Shift operator means here the meaning is this number should be shifted to this direction by 2. Now 6 means 110. When you shift this one to this direction by 2, these two will be disappeared. Therefore answer is 1. Here this one means you have to shift this one by 2 characters to this direction. 6 means 110. When you move into this direction, you get 2 zeros here. That means this number, that is 24. So that is how you should do it. එතකොට මේකේ මතක තියාගන්න මේ shift operator එකේදී කියන්නේ මේ ඊතලයේ වගේ තියෙන මේ පැත්තට. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ පැත්තට තමයි shift වෙන්නේ. එන 6 කියලා කියන්නේ 1 1 බිංදුව. ඒකෙන් දෙකක් මේ පැත්තට shift වෙන්නේ. ඒතර මේ පැත්තට shift වුණාම මේ දෙක මැකිලා යනවා. ඉතුරු වෙන්නේ 1යි. උත්තරේ 1යි. මේකෙදි කියන්නේ shift කරන්න මේ පැත්තට දෙකක්. එතකොට 110 when you shift this side 2 zeros comes here. Then it is actually equal to 24. That is how you get this number. So I have given. So the other thing is most of the exams you get the questions with mathematical operators and the bitwise operators. Then you have to remember bitwise operators are low priority. Therefore, first of all, you have to do this other operation first. So මෙතන මතක තියාගන්න මේ සාමාන්‍ය operators එක්ක bitwise operators දුන්නාම bitwise operators will get the low priority. Others will get the high priority. දැන් මෙතනදී මේ පළවෙනි ගානේදී ඔයගොල්ලෝ මුලින්ම කරන්න ඕනේ මේක නෙමෙයි. operation එකෙන් මුලින්ම කරන්න ඕනේ එකතු කිරීම. ඒතර 5යි 3යි 8යි 8යි කියලා කියන්නේ binary වලින් 1 0 0 0. 6 is 1 1 0. Then this is O operation. That means 0 0 0 1 0 0 1 1 0 0 1 1 0 0 1. That means 14. That is how we get the answer. එතන මතක තියාගන්න අනිත් ඒවාත් එහෙමයි. මෙතනදී මුලින්ම එකතු කළා 7 1 8යි. ඊට පස්සේ තමයි exclusive operation එක කරන්නේ. මෙතනදී 5 1 6යි. ඊට පස්සේ තමයි end operation එක කරන්නේ. මෙතනදී 4 2 6යි. ඊට පස්සේ exclusive. Here we do the addition first. Now 5 means 101 shifted by 2. Then it becomes 1. Here 5 means 101 shifted by 2 0 0. Then it is 20. So මෙතනදී මුලින්ම මේක 20 බෙදන්න 7න් එතකොට 14යි 6ක් ඉතුරුයි. Then you have the exclusive operation is 6 and 8. Like you have to just remember the mathematical operation do first. මතක තියාගන්න bitwise operators කරන්නේ ඒවා low priority එක ඒ calculation එක කරන්නේ අන්තිමට. These are the operators that you can use, but we didn't get that much questions here. You can just go through them actually. Some operators in Python you can use. Logical operators and or not also can be used. Now in the Python, how to add the comments? Remember in the Python you can add the comments. Whatever you write after the hash. What you write after the hash is a comment. The Python interpreter will ignore the things you write the comments. ඒතර program ලියද්දි මේ comments පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ ඒ program language එක දන්න කෙනාට විතරයි තේරෙන්නේ program එක. හැබැයි program එක language එක දන්නේ නැති කෙනාට තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒතර පස්සේ program එක බලලා කාටද කියනවා තේරුම් ගන්න ඕන නම් අපිට comments set කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒතර හොඳ programmer කෙනෙක් නම් එයා හැමතිස්සෙම comments set කරනවා. මොකද වෙන කෙනෙකුට බලලා තේරුම් ගන්න පුළුවන් code එක. මොකද නැත්තම් මේ language එක දන්න කෙනාට විතරයි තේරුම් ගන්න පුළුවන් code එක. ඒකයි comments දාන්නේ. දැන් උදාහරණයක් විදිහට අපි හිතමු ඔයාලට මොකක්ද document එකක් හම්බ වෙනවා Japanese language එකේ. එතකොට මේ document එකේ තියෙන දේවල් අපිට තේරුම් ගන්න බෑ මොකද ඔයා Japanese language එක දන්නේ නැත්තම්. ඒක දන්න කෙනෙකුට තමයි ඒකේ මොකද්ද තියෙන්නේ කියලා තේරුම් ගන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි ඒකේ කොහේ හරි තැනක කොටස ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් තියෙනවා නම් එතකොට අපිට ඉංග්‍රීසි ටික කියවලා තේරුම් ගන්න පුළුවන් මේකෙන් කරන්නේ මොකක්ද කියලා. ඒත් මේ comments කියන ටිකත් අර ඉංග්‍රීසි ලියන ටික වගේ තමයි. ඒතර ඒක ඉන්ටර්ප්‍රිට් එකට කියන්න ඕන මේක comment එකක් මේක translate කරන්න එපා කියලා. ඒ නිසා මේ hash කියන එක symbol එක දාලා කියනවා මේක comment එකක් කියලා. That is the purpose of the comments. Now we'll see some past paper questions to understand this. Now when I start with first A-level paper. 2011 is where we start this A-level ICT. So let's see this one. Here what happened, the first one. First one is hash. It's a comment. This is okay. But this symbol is not used actually. This symbol is not used. This is also okay, equals 1 and then the hash after that comments. This is also okay, comments. Therefore, answer is A, D, and E. This one. Then, when you look at the next one, remember, don't use the single quotation within the single quotation here, and that is wrong. If you want to include the single quotation here, use the double quotation here. Therefore, this is okay. This is wrong because only A has the value, B and C doesn't have the value. This is okay. A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals string. This is okay. This is okay. A equals 1, B equals 1. Therefore, here which is correct? A, B, D and E. B, D and E, this one. This is the answer. මතක තියන්න Python වලදී මේ පළවෙනි එක හරි. එහෙම ලියන්න පුළුවන්. මේක වැරදි, එහෙම සංකේත නැහැ. මේක කමක් නැහැ. මොකද ඒ වලගේ එකට සමාන කරලා ඊට පස්සේ කමෙන්ට් එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒක හරි. මේකත් කමෙන්ට් එකත් හරි. Therefore, it is okay. This one is wrong. මේක වැරදි. මොකද මේ quotation mark එක දානවා නම් මෙතන මෙන්න බෑ. This is okay. Double quotation ඇතුලේ single quotation තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. මේක හරි. මේක වැරදි. A අගයක් තියෙනවා, B C අගයක් නැහැ. මේක වැරදි. මේක හරි. A වලගේ 1යි, B වලගේ 2යි, C වලගේ string. මේක හරි. මේකත් හරි. Now, if you look at these questions, what is the result of this? 10 divided by 3, remainder is 1. 3 එකයි. I think that's very easy. To make it 10 තුනෙන් බෙදාම ඉතිරි වෙන අංගය. This one. Then consider the following assignment statement. A is Nimal, B is 30. මේක හරි. ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. මේකේ A ටාගයක් තියෙනවා, B ටාගයක් නැහැ. මේක වැරදි. මේක ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. A, B දෙන්නම එකයි. මේක හරි. True capital T හරි. මේක වැරදි. එතකොට A, C and D. A, C, D. This one. Now, let's see this one. Which of the following statement is the true with respect to the programming languages? Machine languages belong to the second generation. Machine language is the first generation. Machine language programs can run directly on the computer. No, we need to translate and assembler. Machine language belongs to the first generation. No, machine language is second generation. Machine language is more human readable form than the machine language. Oh, ඒක හරි. Machine languages program can be translated to the assembly code language using assembler. No, it's the other way. Assembly language can do the machine language by assembler. Therefore, answer is fourth one. Then which of the following statement is true with respect to the comments in the programming language? At the time of execution, comments are transferred to the special machine instruction. No, translator වලින් translator ignore කරනවා comments. මේක වැරදි. Translate කරන්නේ. Comments should always be limited to the single line. No, you can use a multiple line. Comments should start with the symbol hash in all language. No, Python is hash, other language use other symbols. It is good practice to include the comments in the program to explain the function. Yes, that is correct. In Python programming, comments should always start at the first column. No, that's wrong. Which of the following is invalid? So this is valid, okay. This is valid, okay. This is valid, okay. This is valid, okay. But here there's a spacing. This is wrong. This is wrong. Now, what is the value of the Z? Here actually we check whether 1 is equal to 2. So actually 1 is not equal to 2. That is wrong. That is false. It's not true. It's false. So same thing here. Now, if you look at the 2016 A level, consider the following statements about compiler interpreter used in the programming languages. Compiler interpreters are not required to execute the program in assembly language. No, translators are necessary. Therefore, A is wrong. A is wrong. Computers are not essential to execute. Compilers are not essential to execute the program in machine code. Yes. Machine code, no need translators. An executable program is translated to the source code by compiler. No, it's other way. So the answer is B only. Which of the following Python statement is syntactically incorrect? Now here A is 10, B is 11. That is okay. A, B both are equal to the tuple 1, 2. This is okay. This is also tuple. This is okay. Here A is 2, B is equal to these two. That is okay. Here A is 2, B is 3. There's no value for others. This is wrong. This is wrong. Now in this one, we need to do the multiplication first. 6 into 4, 24. Then 24 divided by 3. That is actually 3 minus 6 into 4, 24. 24 divided by 3 is 8. Plus 12 divided by 4, 3. 3 into 3, 9. Then 8 plus 3 minus 5. Minus 5 plus 9, 4. Answer is 4. This one. So the same thing you can just study here. Now, if you look at this, as I told you previously, this is okay. This is okay. 2.3, 10 to the power 2. This is okay. True, this is wrong. I told you only the first letter should be capital. This is okay. This is wrong. Only double quotation. A and C is correct. This one. This is okay. A and B both are equal to 5. This is okay. A is 2, B is 3. This is okay. A is 2, B is 3. This also okay. This is a tuple. Therefore, all are correct. මතක තියාගන්න මෙන්න මෙතන ඔයගොල්ලෝ පටලවා ගන්න එපා මේක tuple එකක්. මේ විදිහට කියන්න පුළුවන් bracket තියෙන්නත් පුළුවන් bracket නැති වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. Is correct. Same thing. Now, if you look at this question, that's the following statement regarding the programming language and the program translation. A compiler translates programs one statement at a time. That is wrong because compiler translates the whole program, not one statement at a time. That is done by the interpreter. Therefore, this is wrong. An assembler converts a program in assembly language into the machine code. Yes, that is correct. B is correct. An interpreter scans the entire program and translates the whole program. No, that is compiler. So answer is B only. Now, this is the question you need to remember the operator precedence. तर මේ ගාන කරන්න යද්දී ඔගොල්ලෝ operator precedence මතක තියාගන්න. ඒත් මුලින්ම කරන්නේ මේක exponential කියන. 5 to the power 2, 25 divided by 3. How many 3's are there for the 25? 8. Then you get the exclusive operation between 4. So 5 to the power 2, 25. 25 divided by 3. How many 3's are there? 8. 24. An exclusive operation with 4. Then 8 means 1, 0, 0, 0. 4 means 1, 0, 0, 0, and 0. Then you have to take the exclusive O. Then you should know the truth table for the exclusive O. What's the truth table for the exclusive O? As I have given previously, when you have the A and B, this is 2019 A level. High level and execute on the will not be same to 6. ඒක වැරදි. අපිට high level language program our program must be the programs run faster than the compile program. That is also wrong. Normally compiler programs are faster. Program in some high-level languages are translated in the form called the bytecode because such bytecode executes faster than the machine code obtained by the usual compilation. නෑ ඒක වැරදි. bytecode එකකට හරවන්නේ ඒකට නෙමෙයි. ඒක කරන්නේ ඕන machine එක run කරන්න machine independent කරන්න. Java වල වෙන්නේ ඒක. මේකත් වැරදි. Some modern processors execute programs in high-level language without translating them to the machine language. That is also wrong. මේ අවුරුද්දේ මේ ප්‍රශ්නෙට ඔක්කොම ලකුණු හම්බුණා මේක වැරදි පහම. Now let's see the other question here. Initially we do this one. तर මේක තමයි priority එක තියෙන්නේ මුලින්ම. तर 100ට 3ේම කොච්චරක් තියෙනවද? එතකොට 10 3 the 10 is 333. ඒක බෙදන්න ඕනේ 4ෙන්. 32ට 4 8යි එකක් ඉතුරුයි. When you take the operation between get the operation between 1 or 8. 1 can 1, 8 is 1, 0, 0, 0. If you have any doubts, you can ask. Make it මතකෙන් මුලින්ම කරන්න ඕනේ 100 බෙදලා 100 කොච්චරක් තියෙනවද 33යි 33 4ෙන් බෙදුවාම 8යි එකක් ඉතුරුයි. එක O8 operation ගන්නවා 1 and 8. 1 is 1, 8 is 106. Operation. Then you get the answer as 1. Can you hear me? Am I audible? Okay, right. Thanks. It's the same question. Now let's look at the 20 A level question. මේකෙදී we input the 17. So input value is 17. Then you take that 17 here as n. So then n gets a 17 here. This n will be equal to the entire number 17. So then you have to pass that one here. That means 17 divided by, within bracket, 17 divided by 5. And then that is to the power 3. We are going to do this bracket first. This one. So 17 පහෙන් බෙදුවාම දෙකක් ඉතුරුයි. එතකොට 17 divided by 2. ඒක තමයි ඊළඟට කරන්න ඕනේ. එතකොට දෙකේව කොච්චරක් තියෙනවද? 17ට 8යි. Then 8 to the power 3. 8 තුන්වෙනි බලය. 8 තුන්වෙනි බලය කියන්නේ 8 වැඩි කිරීම 8 වැඩි කිරීම 8. 8 වරකට 64යි 64 ඒවා 8ක් 512. Is the answer. I think it's clear. ඒතර මේකේ මුලින්ම කරන්න ඕනේ මේ බ්‍රැකට් එක 17ට 5ව 2යි. 17 5න් බෙදුවම 8යි. 8 තුන්වෙනි බලය. (2021) A level. Now in this question, you can see you need to complete the bracket first. Now n is 117. So n is 117. Bit operation and operation with 127. So 117 bit operation එක ගන්න ඕනේ. 117 කියන එක binary වලට හරවන්න ඕනේ. 117 divided by 2. 2 into 5, 10. 17, 8. 1 is remaining. 2, 9. No remainders. 14, 1. 7, 0. 3, 1. 1, 1. So that is equal to 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. That's 117. Now 127, we are divided by 2. (63, 1). 31, 1. 15, 1. 7, 1. 3, 1. 1, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is AND operation. The AND operation ගත්තාම ඒකම එනවා. Because we multiply this one 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1. That means we'll make once you do this operation, same thing comes. Then 170 තමයි එන්නේ. The AND operation එක ගත්තාම ඒකම එනවනේ. මේක 2 to the power 3, 8. 117 බෙදන්න ඕනේ 8 වලින්. එනවා 8 into 1, 8. 3 is 37 means 8 into 4. Integer division 14. 41. Is that clear? Okay, thanks. Now this one, we input the value 25. So when you input the value 25, then you can see this value will be 25 here, modulus 25 minus 21 to the power 3. Make 25 modulus bracket complete. 25 minus 1 is 4 to the power 3. So 25 divided by 4. 4 into 6, 24, 1. 1 to the power 3 is 1. 1 to the power 3. 1 to the power 3 means 1 into 1 into 1. That is 1. Which question you are asking? That is same question in the below actually. 37, same question. What would be the output of the following Python code if the input was 25? Then 23 A level. So A is 10. A is 10. Sorry. Here A is equal to 10 divided by B is equal to 4 plus C is 7, A minus B, 10 minus 6, A minus B. Then 10 divided by 4, remainder is 2. Because 4 into 2, 8, remainder is 2. Then 7 divided by 10 minus 6 is 4. Then how many 4s are there? 1. 2 plus 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. That should be done. The last year, is how much? 5. Base. C is how much? 2. C is 2 plus D is 6 divided by C. C is 2. So A is 5, B is 3 to the power C. C equals to 2. And D is 6 divided by remainder modulus operator C. C is how much? 2. එතට 5න් 3ක් ගියාම 2යි. 2 දෙවෙනි බලය. 6ට 2 3යි ඉතිරි නෑ බිංදුවයි. 2 දෙවෙනි බලය 4යි. මේක තමයි උත්තරය. So today I just finished only the initial part of Python. Now if you have any questions, please share with me in the WhatsApp group. Then I will do the other Python parts step by step tomorrow. Maybe I need to take few days to complete. Day after tomorrow and Thursday until Friday, I think I need to do this, cover the entire Python. මම Python වල මුල කොටස තමයි අද කරේ. ඒ වගේ ඉතුරු ටිකත් ඔයගලන්ට කරනවා හරියටම. If you just come to the class, listen, you can easily got the marks. And I will share the recordings also for you to refer this one again. If you have any questions, please send me the WhatsApp message. If you have any lessons where you want to revise, just let me know. I can do it. Thank you for joining for today's class. And tomorrow 9:30, we'll have the other class to cover the the other section, selection and looping, if then else, and the loops, for loop, while loop, the looping related questions will be discussed tomorrow. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you for everyone.